It's one of those things, huh?
It's one of those things, man.
It's like so crucial. You had no idea how important audio is now as you're like developing.
Oh my God, dude. Audio has been not a challenge, but just another learning curve. But we get into it. Yeah. Well, actually, we're live right now, so
I know. I mean, that's why I kind of started it. I'm like, let's see however you want to.
So, guys, welcome back to the Modern Creative, episode 5 right now, and we're not at my place. We are currently in Orange County with Mar. I don't know if you guys remember Mar. We did a in-depth interview with him back at In the Frame podcast. Probably, I mean, obviously, well over a year ago.
Yes.
Got a little intense.
Yes.
Peter fucking cried, which is still hilarious.
Sorry, Peter.
Yeah, man. Mar, dude, what have you been up to, man? What's good with you, man?
Since that time, other than still creating, I think the most recent coolest thing is we went to Mexico together.
Let's talk about that, man.
Yeah, that was fun.
So we went to Oaxaca, Mexico, specifically in Puerto Escondido.
Yep.
And him with another creative, Stormy, another creative, Gabe, we all decided we've been wanting to do this for a long time. Yep. And then we finally were able to make this happen.
Yep.
And it was definitely one of the best trips of 2022 by far. What, 2022, right?
Correct.
Yeah, 2022.
Yep.
Trip was sick. We shot some amazing content, so much content, but I feel like less than 10% of the content that we all shot besides Gabe is not out yet.
No,
because Gabe is an animal with turning things over so quick.
Yeah, it was beautiful seeing him do it.
Yeah, granted, he does photography, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
But video, I know you had started a Reels playlist on Instagram for it was like Oaxaca, like the Mexico playlist.
Yeah.
You dropped like 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Where the rest of them at, my guy?
So what ended up happening along with returning, I guess I didn't plan the construction of what I wanted to talk about, other than I know that I filmed different aspects of everybody there. A little bit of Stormy, a little bit of you, a little bit of Gabe. And I realized once I have everything, I have so much content, and now I'm in the process of what story do I want to release and how do I want to release it. And then now you factor in I have regular work.
Yeah.
Right. So,
and I feel like you've picked up a lot more since last year, I think. I mean, Granted, you are working with like the same people. Maybe you add in a few more clients to your workload, but like you're just expanding so fast, man, since we first connected, 2-3 years ago.
Yes.
It's been crazy to see from the outside in how your journey's been so far, man. And it's really props to you. It's someone I look up to, man, as far as I kind of get to the business aspect of it, man. And just generally overall cool human being, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I honestly think we'll both be like, your journey we're at a crossroads. I think you'll skyrocket just equally to where I'm at. And I think where you're at is trying to build that team.
Yeah.
The only reason I went to Mexico was because I was able to comfortably go knowing that I had the team on my back. So since the last time we met, we hired 1, 2, 3 or 4 more people. So it was just me.
Are we talking part-time or full-time or just like, okay.
Yeah. One is
that's a stunt. not many people can say, yeah, I have 4 full-time people at the team. Like that's insane.
But it is hard. It's not like, once you have income. One thing that I want, there was a cool reel. I don't remember where I saw this reel, but this guy is like, what's your definition of success? He goes, I want freedom. And I think that's kind of how I want it too. It's like, I want to use the income that I have, that I generate, not to flash and say I have income. It's more to hang out with the homies, hang out with my parents, hang out with the fam, do all those things that quote unquote I think make me free to do the shit that I want to do,
Yeah.
So we built the team. One of the first hires, I don't remember if it was with you that I did have the editor. I know I had one editor.
Possibly. I believe it was just you and Aisha, I think.
Okay. Yeah. And then once after that chapter, I decided to get an editor. So I ended up getting an editor. They're from the Philippines. 3 of these editors are from the Philippines, but I started with one first. And then one editor teaches each one. And now we have a good collection of anytime a new project comes in, they all could communicate with one another and myself to go, hey, what's the brand style like? What's this going to look like? But fast forward to Mexico. I was able to go because of that team. And having Sage, who's my project manager, operations manager, she delegated everything, communicated meetings with the clients, communicated to the team. I maximized all the content. Not maximized. I put all the content that we filmed prior to me leaving onto Dropbox. This was a test. It took me like an entire day.
I can only imagine.
Because it was 4K. Typically, we don't give them 4K.
Upload all that media. Sheesh.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that I remember vividly, like watching you. You would still technically work. Yep. I mean, it was a working trip. Technically, it wasn't just there just for shits and giggles, because we were all editing. But I feel like you took it a lot more serious, because this was a true test for you and how your business was structured, to see like, hey, can I step out of the business and have it still run smoothly without nothing burning down?
Yeah.
And I remember you looked a tad bit stressed, but I think it's because you're letting your baby go. Letting your baby walk on its own.
Yep.
And but you were telling me, is like, dude, Sage is killing it. She's actually doing a lot better than I expected. And that's amazing.
Yeah. It was funny because before I left, she was like shitting bricks. Dude. She's like, what?
Dude, we got to get her on the podcast.
Dude, you will.
Yeah,
you will. She's phenomenal. You'll love it.
She's a photographer as well. And she also works with Mara as a project manager, operations manager, full-time creative, learning a lot of other things. But one of her, she's using her abilities to be very organized, like super good. Nice.
I was stressed because I care about my clients so much. I want to make sure that
it's not a bad problem, man.
Not a bad problem, you know. It's funny because I talk to creatives that they get kind of frustrated with, you know, some of the projects there, but in the end, it's like we have to like learn from that experience. You're gonna get so much from that experience. Learn, get deep, get super present. Why did they get pissed? Why did you get pissed? And like ask yourself certain questions to go.
Can you elaborate more into like giving a vivid example? Not necessarily throw names out there or like time frames, because we don't want anyone to watch this and be like, hey, is they talking about me or whatever?
No,
just give me a broad example of something that happened to you where they threw a curveball at you, or they might have been pissed, or they weren't completely satisfied, and you had to learn from it and you had to pivot.
I think there are several scenarios. Clients have a certain way of talking, a certain way of communicating. Now, certain clients also live in their specific industries. So one industry, I'm going to use real estate as an example. How they communicate with their clients and how they're used to it is via text. And then we have another person that is good at communicating with email. What I like about both of them is learning how to do my things via text without feeling the pressure of I need to answer this now is important. And the whole idea of telling people respect boundaries and stuff, I understand.
Bro, you just saying text, I'm like, my blood's already boiling, dude. Like, oh, the anxiety's kicking in. But go ahead.
But I think it comes down to how you should respond. Like, even if you don't like, for example, you could begin a conversation where it sounds back and forth, and eventually both the client and the creator are expecting this back and forth. But what I've learned is I would tell one of my clients, hey, I'm unable to respond for the next 3 hours. I just want to let you know that I'm doing X, Y, and Z on your project. Let me know if this makes sense. I'll talk to you soon. That's my way of respecting their boundary and telling them a truth, even if they want it done now, even if it's like,
which everyone does.
It's like, I physically cannot, because I'm driving to a location to do something, some other project. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling them the truth. Like, and I'm cool with it. And it's just now cooling my emotions and be like, all right, I'm going to be chill. I did my part. I'm going to let it bless and release.
Right. I mean, I don't know, like, so clearly you don't mind the whole texting, clients texting and whatnot, right? Like for example, for my style, I want everything via email.
Paper trail. Yep.
Yeah, paper trail, exactly. I mean, yeah, you can keep it paper trail via text, but I mean, that could be convoluted with some of the different conversations. But I don't like the whole texting, because that's like a boundary that you're just crossing that I personally don't like and enjoy. Mm-hmm. Text messages are more for like friends, my wife, my mom, family members and whatnot. And so if I get a text message from a client, I'm like, oh man, like I used to work with someone who would text me at 5 a.m, 6 a.m, bro, to the point where it's like, all right, That's when I finally discovered the do not disturb, and I started clicking that past 6-7 p.m. And I wake up and I get no messages, notifications, because it's on do not disturb clearly, and it's just the best thing ever. And I just don't like people who are asleep. I mean, granted, luckily for me, I wake up pretty early from like 5:30 to 6 o'clock ish.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see your text message first thing in the morning.
Oh, totally.
Like I have my own morning routine and my own way of like clearing my mind and doing affirmations or whatever, or trying to figure out what am I going to do today. So
doing affirmation, whatever, you do take it for real.
As far okay, so this we're gonna pivot real quick. Fuck it. I saw you do a story recently, and you were kind of killing the affirmation people. It was one of your reels, actually, I think. And because I'm not a huge like affirmations person, like I'm not sitting crisscross applesauce Zen style and doing affirmations. No, like I'm just saying, speaking to my head, like today I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, and today I'm gonna land a client, or today I'm gonna lock this deal at 12 o'clock when I have my phone call.
Yes.
Simple conversations within myself, but I'm not doing the whole like again throwing the mat on, doing the yoga thing or whatever.
One, I did kind of wanted to frustrate individuals to get their attention.
It worked. I mean, I was with it because I'm all about the jokes, man.
Yeah.
And
in the middle of it, I said, it will not work if you don't do this one thing, and that's work. I get you have to prime yourself. You have to talk your way into it. But if you could shut off a part of your brain and just do the work, it's gonna happen regardless. And I think that's what I was. I think I watched so many of my friends say the affirmation, do it, but they're having a trip. They're out there. They want to live this lifestyle, but they're taking their time to go hiking or partying. And I'm like, if you have that ability, the 4-hour drive, the 6-hour drive, that could have been spent 2 hours building a landing site, 1 hour building a cart. You could have made money and then traveled.
Right.
So I think that's what I was trying to get at is like, don't do the affirmations. Don't do it if you're not going to do the work.
Stop putting into action.
Correct. I do affirmations. I do it. Like I do talk to myself positively. I do prime myself.
Did you get some sort of backlash?
A couple of people. I noticed that a lot of my friends kind of brought it up similar to how you did, but
it's a good conversation starter. Once I saw that reel, I'm like, podcast marker right there.
And I also see what the whole world is saying affirmations.
And that's the annoying part, man, because you see all these like gurus out there that are saying, hey, you need to do X, Y, and Z. And nothing is more frustrating to me is seeing people that are telling you how to do things, but they're not applying that knowledge to themselves. Like nothing's more annoying when I see videographer YouTubers that say, hey, you need to do X, Y, and Z. You need to do 20 cold calls or 20 cold email calls or something like that. But they're not applying that to themselves. They're just teaching people, but without the actual backing or proof. And so I like to see, I'm a sus person. So I need to stay like, all right, let me see past the BS or whatever you're saying. Like I need to actually see proof that you've actually done this and it's succeeded in your business or in your whatever your teachings are. Not just sit in front of the camera and say, do this because it's gonna work.
Correct.
So that's more of my thing because
I understand. You're a visual learner. Every time I think we started, whether it was tinkering my camera or something, you would look and be like, okay, what setting do you have it?
Why? Why is the big question, not just how do you do it and that's it.
Yeah.
I need to know why.
And I think for myself, I'm the same way. I dislike getting all these courses and like I purchased a content creator course, contentcreator.com, who's by this guy named Paul Xavier. Like 10 of his videos are pitching me to get into his coaching program. The first 10
that's already paid for?
That's already paid for. 10 of his first, it's a low end price, but he's pitching me 10 videos in of like, hey, that's why you got to join the coaching program. If you haven't signed up, coach. So I just paid, it's like 37 videos or something like that. So I have to watch 37 videos and it claims to give me, mind you, there are people that have that ability to sit there and probably watch those every day and take action. I'm a busy professional. I want to do a course thing, but I needed like the first 3 videos to tell me the exact substance. So that goes back to like everything that I'm learning that I want to put out is like, here's some immediate action you could do. Like, here's something you could do right now. Here's the BTS you could do right now. Here's this. You could see how I'm talking on Instagram stories. Here's how you could do it every day. Like, all to say is like, I'm very, show me the visual outline and tell me, but don't tell me 10 videos to get into your program.
It's like, bro, I already paid for it. You already got my card information.
Yeah,
It's
dude,
like
God,
get to the meat and potatoes now.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, damn, so it sounds like you got.
I'm pretty sure I haven't gotten to the meat yet.
Okay, gotcha. But I mean, if you're paying,
it's marketing.
Okay. Yeah, so like the one course that I did invest in, I'd mentioned this in the first episode.
Yeah, I want to know what it is.
This the dude goes by the name of Farid. I forget his last name, and I've been following this guy for a few years now, and we've been DMing each other. And then I happened to be on in the same Facebook group, and he was an admin on it. I didn't even know about. And he sold a course. It was like either $100 or $150. And I'm like, well, it's only $150. I'm gonna take my chance. The way he sold me on is like, I'm gonna show you actual phone calls and Zoom meetings of me pitching it to the person where you see me close these $15,000 deals, $20,000 deals, $25,000 deals. I'm like, dude, I've actually never heard, out of all the gurus out in YouTube that teach you the basics that you can find on YouTube for free, I've never seen anyone say, I'm going to show you my actual pitch meeting with a freaking client.
Correct.
And that automatically sold me. And of course, I did learn about theory and all that good stuff. And then you see the actual calls. It's like 30 to 45 to 60 minutes long. And he's pitching it to universities. He's pitching it to business owners, small or big business owners. Mm-hmm. And that I was like, mind blown, man. I'm like, okay, this is exactly what I was looking for. This freaking course should be worth way more than whatever you're charging.
How do you construct yourself? How did you go into that, watching it, and how did you learn from that? Like, other than visually, was it keywords or
a lot of keywords that he says, mannerisms, body posture, and which is why when we do Zooms, one of the reasons why I use my camera instead of a webcam is because of him. He does the same thing, and he goes in depth of like why you should kind of do this. Like, it just gives it a more professional look, and you will impress that potential client. And I get that all the time when I speak to somebody for the first time. They're like, "Oh my God, this is a nice look." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a videographer. Like, I'm all about visuals." Like, you know. And so, and a lot of the keywords that he says, and I've said some of the cool gems to Stormy and some other creators out there. One of the best things, I'll just throw it out here, it doesn't really matter. One of the main things I learned from that course was like, instead of using I'm pitching you something, right? I'm like, hey, this package of 4 Instagram reels and 4 YouTube videos is going to cost you, keyword cost you, $2,500, for example. I'm just throwing numbers out there. Instead of using the word cost has a negative connotation off rip. So instead of using that term cost, just use, hey, Mar, these 4 reels and this 4 YouTube videos is an investment of $2,500. Investment. You think of the word investment like, well, I'm not throwing that money away. I'm investing in myself. So it makes more sense for me to get that package. Stuff like that is like, bruh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just a simple shift. You're like, okay, that totally makes sense. Now You're using it. So that even that one gem right there has probably made you thousands of dollars.
Yeah. I did a testimonial on his behalf as well. And that was one of the key things that I've learned. It's like, I learned to close a lot more deals. My percentage rate went from probably like, I don't know, let's say 20% to like 50 to 60%. Mm-hmm. Granted, it's not a lot, but it's a huge jump as far as percentage rate goes. So it's like, all I need is that one close to like be straight for the next month or two.
Yes.
So.
I think a huge investment was getting a coach for me.
That's right. You did mention last year that you did have a coach. And how has that experience been for you?
I think it's so crucial that 2023 moving forward, people get some sort of guidance to get to the next level, only because if you notice, everything's moving fast. Everything's moving fast. The way we buy things, the way we drive, the way, at least in California, it feels like everything's moving so fast. Sure. So as a person, as a creator that is trying to understand their booking system, as a creator that's trying to understand how to do sales, as a creator that wants to buy new toys and things to invest into their quality of, minus managing a life, like, your head's all over the place. You need a person to come in and go, hey, I get it. Your head's all over the place, but do this one action for the next week. do this one action for the next 2 weeks. Do this one action for this. Try this for a while. So that way it's very interesting. My coach, there was my first 10,000 close via Zoom was very awkward because.
What do you mean by first 10,000? For $10,000 deal or
a $10,000 deal, a $10,000 monthly retainer.
Gotcha.
Right. I confidently knew what I have is valued at that. I was like, I know that whatever I'm building, the amounts of content, the things that I'm bringing to the table is of this value. The self-confidence was something that was tricking my head. Like, I didn't know. I'm like, I'm about to speak to this X person. Their accolades. They've created all this. Are they going to see through me where I feel? I'm thinking about my race. I'm thinking about my
imposter syndrome.
Yeah, imposter syndrome. Exactly. So I call my coach. My coach gets on a call 20 minutes before my actual call with this individual, and I run him through this, and then all he said was, "Dude, you are worth that. You're valued that.
You are him."
Yeah. And then, I just needed the permission. I needed him to say, yo, all the things that I'm validating you, now go do it. And for my brain goes, thanks. Because I looked at my coach and he was like, he's made millions. He's done his due diligence. He could look at me and go, yeah, this is good. This all checks out. Now go do it.
Okay, me playing the sus role and devil's advocate, could he be saying that to be like, hey, shut the fuck up, just do it. You're wasting my time on a stupid ass call.
Yep, probably. But, you look at his mannerism, his posture, and
it's no BS.
No BS, okay. Yeah. He's taking his time to listen. Okay, tell me the thing. Great. What do you think about that? Good. That's good.
Damn.
You're validated.
Right.
I'm telling you.
Man.
Go do it. You know?
Speaking of the coaching, I know you're slowly dipping into the whole coaching role yourself. Mm-hmm. How has that been, and what is it that we could expect from you in 2023?
So I went into 2023 not wanting to, not that I didn't want to coach. A lot of my friends say you should coach. You should try coaching. I don't know what that looks like. I'm not following some sort of guided principle. I consider it more of like, reach out to me because you have a question and I'll answer this question as best as I can. I notice that when that happens, so many other things occur. Like a friend of mine reached out and he goes, hey, I'm about to send over this thing. Do you mind taking a look at it? I take a look at it. I'm like, great. Now what happens if they do this? Like, he sends me his thing. I'm like, what happens if they do this? Oh, I didn't think about it that way. Great. Here's my example. Here's what I've done in the past. How I went about doing this is I told him this. What he was lacking, he didn't have objectives on his proposal. And I think that's very important if you're still communicating your proposal just through email instead of straight Zoom.
Right.
So I just told him, hey, put objectives on there so psychologically they could... Excuse me.
It's all good.
So psychologically, they could look at all this and go, oh, he understood what I wanted. This company could go, oh, the objective is to have more authority in this industry, to gain a sense of blah, blah, blah with brand, and just have this running line of objectives so that they feel comfortable. The deliverables may be like this long.
Right.
But the objectives are like this long. Mm-hmm. And just being able to tell him that, I was like, oh yeah, like I needed that.
Well, shit, man, I'm about to start sending you my proposals.
I mean, he closed a $5,000 deal.
Hell yeah.
Retainer.
Let's go.
So he's doing good.
Nice, man. That's sick. So, I mean, like, do you see yourself doing some sort of online course, or I know you'd kind of group
Zoom groups similar to
like a mastermind kind of thing?
Yep.
Gotcha.
But those that want to, there'll be creators, and then there's actual people that just want to get on video. Like I just had a conversation with this gentleman in Bellflower, and he wants to do all this, but I told him, it seems to me that you're already uncomfortable in front of the camera. It's not in your best interest to invest on all this if you're going to lose a lot of time trying to get comfortable.
Right.
Get comfortable doing these practices first. For example, film yourself and don't put it out there. You'll notice that your fear is still going to creep up, and you already know you're not putting it out there. Why? So it's like, get into that practice. Put your muscle into use, even if it's not being put out there. Look at it. Study your own content. People don't do that. They think like, I'm just going to do this off the rip and then be good. I'm going to spend thousands of dollars on a creator. It's like, no, like get to ascend to the next level. So it's like, start slow. So something I told him is like, what would it look like if we jumped on a group chat with people that needed to similar boat that you're in? They just need to get comfortable in front of the camera. I give you practices. I give you homework weekly. You check up with me. We meet 4 times a week.
Jeez, it's a lot.
Yeah. But if it's 1 hour on a group chat, that's fine.
True.
You know, so it's 4 hours in 1 month.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah. Man, that's pretty interesting, man. That's one of the things that I've slowly developed, was getting that confidence of speaking into the camera.
Yeah.
And I think once I did the first podcast in the frame, that gave me so much more confidence. I'm like, because most people, I think, hate their voice. They hate how they look. Where in my eyes, I like the way I look and I like my voice. I feel like I have something good to give to that specific audience that's watching the content or consuming the content in general. So I feel like I have what it takes to like be in front of the camera. And that's just like the first step, because then you have to actually produce the content and give those good meat and potato gems to the people out there.
Correct.
So it's something I'm slowly working on. And I told you this even back when I went to Mexico. I think I did tell you that I do these, like, I call them lost files, where I speak to the camera by myself and I don't put it anywhere out. I started doing it once I got this camera, the A7S, because it has a flippy screen. I could actually see myself talk to the camera.
Got it.
So the first thing I did was, hey, I'm going to start this journey once a week. I'm going to speak to the camera, and it's a vlog. It's a real vlog where it's my weekly journal of describing what happened this week, what I did this week, what I learned from it, what I didn't learn from it, or what I didn't like happened, whatever. And I just have them on a hard drive. And it's one of those where, like, whenever I'm like 80 or I'm dead at this point and my kids or my grandkids want to know a little bit about me, those files are out there and you just got to find them and you can consume where my mind was at that specific moment.
That's beautiful.
So that gave me a lot more confidence to speak to the camera, all that practice, because there was a gap from In the Frame podcast till now of the modern creative. That specific gap, I use that to like train myself to speak to the camera more and more, sound better. I will listen to myself. I mentioned this in the last episode that I say way too many times. So I'm trying to fix my dialogue. I'm trying to fix my speech slowly but surely.
You've come a long
You want to talk about how when we first met via Zoom?
Yeah, he would throw F-bombs left and right. And there are so many things that you're doing now that you're like, we're so kind of against.
Yeah.
But they make a huge difference.
Yeah,
they
for
make
sure.
a huge difference.
Yeah. One of the first things I did notice from you when we first met via Zoom, it was like your mannerisms, man. The way the presence that you brought to the camera. You just sounded very confident, and it's something I feel like I was lacking at that time. I mean, this is 2019, or 2020, and I feel like now in front of the camera, I feel like I have that confidence. I could always improve for sure, but baby steps.
But you're saying less you're keeping that entire dialogue,
short and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm as we're speaking right here, you haven't lost any latency. You're not like.
But one of the things is like, yes, I don't, at the same time, I don't want to sound like a freaking robot. I want to keep my personality. I want to keep my Latin flavor because I like who I am. And I don't want to lose it. And I feel like if you stay genuine to yourself, not everyone's going to want to fuck with you. And I'm cool with that. But there will be a percentage of like, dude, I really like this person. He's a funny person, or he's a cool guy. He seems genuine or whatever. Yes. And I want to just learn from this person.
Yeah. Do you believe creators should be doing that?
That's a good question. I feel like that's two different worlds where you just solely create either for the clients, obviously, or you create for the clients and yourself. You and I are on the boat where I think we're both creating for the clients and ourselves. I am a believer of if the client gets to know who you are a little bit more, not just the beautiful work you put out there, like in my mind, that should be more than enough to like sell you on it, but that's not the case.
Yep.
People want to know, especially in this digital space, people want to know who you are, what are you about, what do you stand on, and if you're a genuine person. And the more content you put out there, the better sense they get of like, all right, this person is either cool or he's not cool.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important that every creator that's creating content for business should also put themselves in front of the camera.
Yes.
Unless you're a sole editor where you don't necessarily have to put yourself in front of the camera, because I feel like most editors are pretty introverts, or creatives in general are introverts. I think I'm gonna have a good balance of wanting to be outside and wanting to be inside.
Yep.
But I think it's vital, especially in 2023.
I agree. I was just going to say that. I think it's just very vital for creators to so what I've noticed is people that shoot cool are still shooting cool, but you don't see them. And they're struggling getting gigs because people are wondering, like, why is this person constantly getting gigs? And then you look at their page and they're showing themselves. They're showing
the work could probably be mediocre too. Like,
yeah, and it's not the best. It isn't high value production, but it's the way. It's the person.
Right.
I think it's so crucial.
Yeah, you definitely got to sell yourself essentially.
Yep.
And one of the biggest inspirations has been you, man. I mean, this isn't a dick riding episode at all, but like you definitely helped me out by speaking to the camera without you even knowing it. Just seeing your content inspires me to want to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Not necessarily copy, because our content is completely different, I think, especially the personal side of content. But speaking to the mic, I'm still trying to learn to like put the camera on my face and story my face and just start talking. Like, I'm still trying to get over that hump of, let's call it fear. It probably is fear. I don't think I'm scared of it, but like, I just don't do it. So something I need to work on, but slowly but surely.
I think the process when something just snapped in me. I had that whole, I don't like how I look. I don't like my ears. I don't like this way. But I just said, I don't care anymore. This is documented. I'm going to show myself, show my life. And now I've taken it to an extreme where I'm showing my everyday.
Yeah.
So it's really fun. I was going to say, when it comes to getting content, a lot of content for yourself, something that I've learned is I have clients that film themselves with a teleprompter, and I have clients that could just riff. I'm not a teleprompter person because I don't want to look like I'm reading, and I'm not a complete riff person unless I'm caught off stream of conscious like this. But I am a person that likes to write a story, and then I try to say the line as best as I can, knowing that I'm going to add some visuals to it. Mm-hmm. So if I had a sentence, or I would write a sentence like, I went to Mexico, Oaxaca, and I hung out with my friends and I did this. I look at that sentence and I reword it in a way where like, how can I catch them? And then I try to memorize that as much as I can. And then I record myself. And then when I'm recording myself, I fumble the sentence so many times. I'll be like, here I am at Mexico. That's not it. Today, here I am at Mexico. All right, that's not it. Today, I have something, and I keep doing it until it gives me plenty of time to when I look at the camera, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm happy with this.
Right,
know? So that's my style. Of course, I use other ways of making sure that I could write a whole bunch of stories so that way I'm just prepared.
Either I'm not there yet, or I'm just not I don't like to overly script everything. I kind of like to do things kind of off the dome.
Wait until you do.
Yeah, I know, maybe, yeah.
No, probably. I'm telling you. Wait, I'm putting it down. This is going to be one of those things where he looks back like, why didn't I do that?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, learn, even if it's a paragraph, even if it's one paragraph, take that paragraph, just put it down and put down your stories, voice your stories, put them down, and then come back to them later. Mm-hmm. Because the reason, so the day I put out a whole bunch of pieces of content. I shot those in 2 days. I wrote them in 1 day. So technically it took me 3 days. But a couple hours. The writing took me probably like 4 hours. The shooting took me 4 hours one day, 6 hours another day. So that's 10 hours, mind you, minus delegating with a team, or adding delegating with a team, making sure all the clients are taking care of, living my life, eating, doing all that stuff as a creative. and my goal was to get a certain amount of pieces of content strategically so that I could release them and view myself as the authority, knowing that I'm going to release all these other stories come in 2023, which in the final result, I was able to get new clients, book calls, testing out this thing. But it all stemmed down like, can I write these things down? Let me get used to this. And I don't know how you write your stuff, but like I'll write the story, and underneath that, some people use Google Docs, some people just use a dash. I use a dash, and I'll put like a sentence. I'll write the paragraph, duplicate the paragraph, put it down, and then space each sentence. So in the middle of the sentence, I put my B-roll. So if it's like an entire story, duplicate, put it here. And then in that story, at this sentence, space it, put a little block that says, or a little dot that says, show BTS footage of me doing this. Show communication when I was outside. Show this. Next sentence, read that sentence, put B-roll here. And then I gave those to my editor, and I said, here's the B-roll footage, here's the regular footage, and I blessed and released.
Fuck, dude, that's pretty smart because like, last year, it was my first year experiencing hiring an editor, and it was definitely a learning curve. It still is, where I'm trying to explain what is it that I want, but I don't know how to put it in words because I'm so used to doing it myself, where I don't even know how to explain it to myself. I just put my hands on the keyboard and I'm ripping it. So it's like, it's something I need to do reverse engineering, kind of like you said, put it on paper, put those bullet points where like, hey, at this moment, I want A, B, and C done. So there, the editor, because the editor has no idea what my mind is processing.
Correct.
And so,
and he'll get it done faster.
Yeah. So that's something I'm gonna have to start working on that for sure.
Yeah.
I had a good thing to say, and I remember. You mentioned that you're creating your personal content along with running your entire business. Plus, I see you're working out a ton right now. What is your daily routine looking like? What time are you waking up? What time are you going to bed?
I wake up between 5 and 6. As soon as I wake up, like this is for real. As soon as I wake up, I pound like 2 cups of water. After I have cups of water, I'm chilling on the couch. I kind of look at all my emails or look at any
first thing in the morning, emails.
Yeah, I have no problem.
I just see everyone say, "Don't look at your phone for the first 2 hours. Look at the sunlight for 10 minutes straight." And
I'll go for a walk if I need to. Sometimes it's dark.
Okay.
I do something that
if it works for you, it works for you.
So I just do things that is gonna fuel me.
Okay.
Like if I want to look at them, like I know how to look at things without it affecting me, and it all. For real, is because of the team.
Sure.
Because I know that I'm not going to. I just need to look at it and go, okay, these are. And it's not like reading it. If I have like, actually, so many other things have to happen too. Like keeping clients happy, you get happy texts, you get happy emails, and to get that, you need to be planning. And to get that, you need a strategy. So it's like now, maybe a year ago, I was fucking don't look at the emails.
Okay.
Not gonna front. It is an ascension to it, you know.
All right. So you're waking up at 5:30.
Now, 2022, mid 2022 till now, it's like 5 a.m. in the morning. Take my 2 cups of water. Chill on the couch. Then I have like an e-boost, which is like a sparkling nootropic drink.
No coffee?
Sometimes I have coffee.
Okay.
It's I guess all the things that I do in the morning are typically just to make me feel good. Sometimes I listen to an Audible. Sometimes I listen to music. Sometimes I read a book. Do I journal all the time? No, I journal at night.
Can't forget your affirmations, man.
I can't forget my affirmations would typically be the things that I would say are when I'm drinking water, like today's gonna be a fucking dope day. Like today's gonna be good. Or damn, fuck, I have to do this shit. And then I have to remember and go, I get to do this shit. You know, like it's just dumb, weird shit.
It's not dumb, dude. It's because I wake up and I get my cup of coffee and I'm looking outside of the balcony, seeing the ocean. I'm like, fuck, I can't believe I get to do this shit every day. Like I'm living the dream, man. And I'm far from where I want to get. I mean, granted, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. Like I don't want to live there forever. Yeah. I do want to own a home one day. But every day I'm like, I love doing this shit, man. Yeah. Oh, what? I'm going to edit? That's fucking sick. I'd rather do that than fucking doing construction or some shit like that, man. But okay, I don't want to interrupt you. Emails. This is around 5:30 ish at this point.
No, I mean, I've taken my time, bro.
Gotcha.
That's like almost 6.
Okay.
At this point, there are days where I decide to work on an edit, knowing that no one's gonna bother me. That there's this weird brain bandwidth, and I'm like, I have space. No, I'm not gonna get an interrupting text at 5 a.m. Or
I learned that from Casey Neistat. That's one of the reasons why he wakes up early, because when he works, no one's bothering him because everyone's still asleep.
Yeah, that's true. Like, so sometimes I'll work on a project, sometimes not. Then by the time on Mondays I work out in the evening. Tuesdays and Thursdays I work out in the morning at 7 a.m. Wednesdays is like a mix of stretching in the morning. Fridays is like a free day. I have a mix, but the routine after 6, 7 is just getting ready. Getting ready may mean taking a shower, getting ready to some days I'm like, I'm going to drive out to a mountain and just walk. Some days I'm just going to walk down the street. Sometimes I walk around the block. So there's no, I don't believe in, there are people that are super time blocking routine, but when I feel good, I'm productive.
Dude, from the outside, I would have legit thought you have it to the second of what is it that you're doing and you're not doing.
After 9, everything's to the kind of T.
Gotcha.
Know?
Okay.
So if you look at my calendar, it's fucking booked.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But, that reminds me. Let me stop this right quick.
Yeah. If you want, you could put it here and record yourself for personal content.
Oh, no, we're good, man.
Okay.
I like this. This is time lapse. I already got the time lapse. I have enough on here. But yeah, no. The reason I wanted to I'll show you.
I'm gonna let this. This is all gonna play, man.
Okay.
I'm not cutting anything out.
Okay. So that's the calendar.
Let's. Jeez, look at that. I don't know if you can see it, but focus. That's insane. That's insane.
And that's Sage organizes all these meetings. I put in my workouts. Sage will put Zoom calls in when we're gonna meet with somebody, when we're gonna brainstorm with somebody. Like, yeah, that's a game changer, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, just someone, hey, when are we gonna brainstorm with this client? I'm gonna contact them. She contacts them every Friday. She's like truly believes in the company, so she does everything to make sure that the clients are happy. And also, this is also, you were talking about texts. What I noticed is we're in a relationship business as retainer clients. I think that's why I'm okay with it. But I do, when it's too intrusive, I do bring it up. I'm like, hey, can we just move our conversations to email? But I was trying to think, like, why did I decide to go back to text? And I realized it's because I'm trying to make, it's a relationship. I'm going to be filming, they're investing 60 to 70,000 or more with me for a full year. I'm going to make myself available.
Right.
You know, and I will be honest and say, right now I can't. Give me 2 hours. Right now I can't. Give me 3 hours, enough to get it off.
So you're pretty damn clear when it comes to your communication. Like, you're not like, that's something I need to learn from you then, because like if I get a text message, bro, I'll just let it sit for,
and that's fine.
2-3 hours. I'm like, bro, I'm not responding to you at 6 a.m.
Yeah, and that's fine. I think honestly that's fine. I do that same thing. You know, I don't need to. They know that it's like 6 a.m. in the morning. If they're like blowing me up on a call and stuff like that,
that's different.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little different. Sometimes I pick it up. Sometimes I don't. Mm-hmm. You know, I do want to respect my peace. That's a huge thing as you get older, as a creative, and just in general, is like learning to respect your peace. If your piece is thrown off, your editing is going to be crap. You're not going to feel like editing, and it's something I'm learning to do with my editors. Like, I give so much to the editors. I also ask them, yo, tell me if you're cool. Like, are you
let
cool?
me know if I'm too much.
Yeah, let me know if I'm too much. And they don't want to disappoint, so sometimes they may not let me. They may not tell me. But that's why we have 3, and I'm trying to get a couple more. So I'm like, let's alleviate that from them. But I understand, as a creative, you want to maintain your peace.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, I'm all about that, because like, if my mental is not on point, then I'm not going to perform to my max. So like, that's why the first few hours I like to, again, drink my water first, make some coffee, and I'm just kind of like looking outside, just chilling, doing what freaking Huberman podcast says to look at the sunlight and whatnot.
That's actually gangster.
Yeah. And so, and then the morning is where I get the most creative. Yes. And this morning was a busy rush morning for me because we were scheduled to meet up here at 11 in the morning. So I'm like, all right, I need to create a Instagram reel for the podcast, and I need to create a personal reel for my personal content. It's been over a week since I posted. So I'm creating these 2 pieces of edits, and I'm like, on paper, it shouldn't take too long, but I look at my clock, I'm like, oh shit, I got 30 minutes to shower and take off. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, it does take time, but like the mornings are generally like my most creative moments. And I've caught myself like every day, like past 6 o'clock, I'm pretty much done as far as working goes, as far as editing goes.
That's solid.
Yeah, so I do respond to emails because I could do it via mobile. But after 6 o'clock, for the most part, I turn off the computer and I'm pretty much done. And I'm just hanging out with my wife and just having dinner or just like watching a movie or something like that, going for a walk. But yeah.
I'll still work past 8. Not editing.
Yeah.
But I'll still work on other stuff.
See, like, I don't know. Either I'm not getting enough work or I just haven't figured out where... I hear creators say like, yeah, I need to pull an all-nighter. I'm like, dude, I've never done that. I've never done that. Like, I've never put myself in a position as well to like, I procrastinate to the point where like, holy shit, this is due tomorrow morning at 8 in the morning. So I need to stay up all night. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I like to get shit done quick. And if I can't personally get it done, I have 2 editors on deck that are ready to rip it. So I don't know. Either I got to figure it out or I'm just lucky.
If that's what works for you, then stick, turn that into the process. Mm-hmm. For me, stopping at 8 or 9 is probably my thing.
Latest.
I chill or I'm researching. Mm-hmm. I'm always researching like, cause the next goal, the next level is like, how do I be more efficient as a boss? How do I write things? What papers do I say? How do I create HR? How do I get insurance for a company? Like all these.
You do have that billionaire mindset though, where I don't. Like, I've accepted myself to the point where like I don't want to be a multimillionaire. Like that's not what I'm striving for at all. And it's not a bad thing. Like I'm not saying what your mentality is a bad thing at all. Because it's impressive. It's like I look up to that, but I know myself. There's a limit where like, you know what, I'm cool right here. Yeah. Like, is enough freedom for me? This goes back to the freedom. It's enough freedom for me to walk away and take a 2-week trip, and still have the income coming in my way. You want to be you have like the Bill Gates, you have the Mark Zuckerberg, you have that mentality where it's like I'm gonna be a billionaire in this space
somehow. I don't know if it's a billion, but yeah, I
just say the mentality of a billionaire, because I mean I feel like as far as millions, I think you're fairly there, if not getting close to it.
Man, I really hope so. And I say this with a sigh because my brain is there. We built the app. I want to make the app very functional. We're trying new things. I can't say too much, but it does. Imagine, I can't say too much.
Let's just chill.
But the app is important because I just want to get it into the hands of creators, but I also want to get it into the hands of businesses, and I think it's gonna help time. But as I'm playing with it, as the team plays with it, it's like you're always refining it, and there are steps. Like I have a coach, an app coach, that's like, hey, you have to build this on your website. You have to have these things. You have to make this pitch deck. You have to say, and all those require different level of thinking. I'm like, okay, well, the user's going to use it this way. They're going to, and learning. I'm a brown dude that's never gone to San Francisco, Palo Alto.
Yeah, you're not.
I'm not chilling with those. Those are all people that I admire. Bill Gates had he came up pretty baller. Elon Musk came up pretty baller. Freaking
privilege.
Yeah, So I'm the dude. Then there's other, like the guy from Calendly. He's a black guy. He saw a need and he built Calendly, and he's a billionaire. And the billion, F the money. I want freedom, but to me, I want legacy. I want to leave a part in my tree. Something I remember listening to Ed Milet. He's like, there's someone in the family tree line that all of a sudden takes the tree completely to a hell of a new direction.
And then 2-3 generations later, they destroy it.
But but at least I won't be in
Yeah,
this
yeah, you
season,
won't be there. Yeah.
You know? So if I could create something that if I have a child can make it better, you know, maybe I never make $1 million.
Yeah.
Maybe I just am that beginning trunk for my child.
For the next step.
Yeah.
Or the next generation.
But I'm going to give it my all, you know?
That's sick, man. Oh, man, I had something good right now to say.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, man, it's pretty impressive, man. In regards to the app, guys, I know he kind of briefly touched on this, but any creators that are interested in the app, once it's ready to roll out, I will make sure to have Mar on here and do his whole rollout thing. So don't worry about that. Whenever it's ready to be presented to the world, we will have another Potter.
It's ready.
You can talk about it.
You could just, it's ready.
Fair to say it's on beta mode right now, or?
Well, when I say beta, meaning it's like we're always going to test. So if there's like 10 people on there, I'm asking those 10 people, yo, give me feedback. Mm-hmm. Like what doesn't work, what doesn't work. I don't know if you've used it in a minute, but it's dope.
I'm still waiting for that how to use it on YouTube because it's a little confusing. At least for
just jump on call with me.
I haven't touched it in 2 weeks though. To be fair, but
just jump on call with me.
Okay,
that's my whole thing. Like the first 10 people, they're all gonna talk to me.
Yeah, because I do want to get all my clients on it because, like I mentioned before, all my stuff is kind of everywhere, and I want to put it in one area where it's all proper and perfect.
Dude, it's fire.
Yeah,
like I'm not gonna tell you. Like I can't. I'm hyping my own shit. Last year, I couldn't hype it because there were just missing things. Now I can hype it.
Nice.
Now I'm like, we have an up next tab. We have there's just, I don't want to talk.
Once it's ready, we'll get you back on. But Mark.
Back to, yes, I just think big. I like to think big. I enjoy thinking big. I hang out with people that all think big.
You sure do.
So I want to continue it. I want to take what I know, take someone like you, and see how we can transform you within 2 years, 6 months, 5 months.
Outside of that too, we also came up with this. I think it's a genius plan that we came up in Oaxaca, and we need to work on that too. If you have the time for it, like
I do.
That's something I'm still striving for. Something I was thinking when I was like showering, ironically, is like, dude, I want to fail. And as weird as that sounds, like, I want to fail trying things, new things. Like, I want to try this business that may or may not work, but if it fails, I'm cool because at least it's out of my system. At least I gave it my all. Because they say the biggest regret is like when you're in your deathbed and they say, what is the one thing you wish you would have done? It's like, I wish I would have done what I always wanted to do. Like, I wish I would have done something that I love to do.
Yeah.
And right now I'm doing what I currently love, but now the next step is I want to try this business venture and I want to try another personal business venture right here. And so I want to try a million things and fail. If I fail, that's cool. But if I don't, we up. Bars.
I wish clients thought like that.
What do you mean? Because I feel like the clients you work with are...
Well, that's why I choose to work with those individuals.
Okay, I get what you're saying now.
I think when we jump on call with certain people and investing $60,000 for a year or whatever number you decide, I think to some it's like such a shock in their face, but to others it's like, I'm going to give it my all. One of my clients actually inspired. Her name is Yasmina. She's building this store, but using her house as a structure to build her store. So she's going to take a lot of her pieces that she's putting in for her house and sell it at this future store. But we were sitting eating food, and something she talks about was being on the deathbed, and she casually goes, yeah, when you're laying there, you're not going to go, oh, I wish I stayed on the couch all the time. I wish I just chilled I'm so glad I just chilled on my bed the whole day and watched Netflix.
Watch Jerry Springer 24/7.
I wish I just did more of that my entire life.
That's so true.
So how she said that was exactly what you said. It's like, no, you're going to go, man, I wish I did that workout routine. Man, I wish I did that climb. Man, I wish I went to Mexico with a bunch of my friends randomly and man, I wish I invested $60,000 to this company to see if I could build this future thing. Whatever it is. Mm-hmm. That spoke to me, and I'm like, yeah, I like how she said that. You're not going to say, I wish I just watched more television. I was like, facts.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So now, actually, that's kind of a thing. Anytime I talk to people, I'm like, come on, like, try me. Let's document your life for a while. Let's document your business for a while. I guarantee you're not going to say, I wish I didn't do this, you know?
Something I think you're pretty good at is getting the clients comfortable in front of the camera. Do they all have that from the jump, very comfortable in front of the presence, or do you make them comfortable? There's some people that are just stars and they know it, and there's other people that you kind of have to mold them in a way. And if you do have to mold them, how do you get them to that comfort level of like, hey, just fucking do it?
Mm-hmm. It's going to sound, this is how I do it. It's going to sound like a lot. I think it's going to sound a lot, but it really isn't.
Let it rip.
So certain people are super comfortable in front of the camera. They can get on the camera and do their thing. How I view that person through that camera, I think I take a look at their audience and I go, is this too much? Is this too specific? Is this too boring? So I get into the eyes of the audience. And so I'm going to use my main client. I'm not going to say the name, but she's been in business plus 17 years. She could get on the camera and speak a million miles per hour. But not the problem. Something that I've noticed is maybe it's too much for her audience right now. So I'm like, can you tell me that story, but a tad bit slower?
How do you gauge that though? Like, how do you know the audience is thinking what you're thinking?
It's how I feel.
Okay.
It's how I feel. Like I want, the way, if I told you this, if I said, all right, guys, today I'm going to teach you how to make $10,000, right? First, you're going to close $3,000 clients, and it's easy. You have to do a premium sale price by doing a premium Zoom call, by doing that, and say it at this speed with the same amount of passion. It's another way of like, how would you like to close $10,000 today? Like telling them how to tone it down so me personally feel something is so important. So when I'm watching them, I'm like, am I feeling this right now? Like, is it feeling how I want to feel? And I study everything, the way they move their eyes, their shoulders, the way they're expressing it.
They do say body language is what, 70% of communication?
Manner, tone of voice. Like I have another specific person that she's a great storyteller. Great, but sometimes it's too structural, too number based immediately, instead lean in with the story. But how I get them to speak first, sometimes they hit it out of the park right away. I'm not going to front. They've come a long way. They could just hit it out of the park. Other times where I'm like, can we say it again? But can you tell me in a story? Like, it's a little complicated. Can you tell me a little bit in a story? And
do they get thrown off?
Sometimes they feel insulted.
Okay.
But I'm an artist too. So
yeah, they hired you for a reason.
Exactly. Like, it's worked so far. You've closed whatever, these things. It's like, can you just trust me? Like, let's just try it. And then almost 90% of the time they say this, yeah, that felt better. You hear them catching that audio, like that felt good. That felt good. That was right. That sounded great. They themselves think they've sounded great.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, dude, like,
it's like, I know my shit.
Yeah. No, but like for you, if I needed to get you on camera, I'm like, hey, how's your day? That's how I think I talked about this, is like, I ask, like, I genuinely care. Like, how's your day? You could tell if I'm fucking with you. I'm like, how's your day? Like, that's too fast. But I'm like, Alberto, you drove down here. Like, tell me, like, how's your day?
That's one thing I've seen from you that was like, whoa, he's really good at, I don't know if he really gives a fuck or not, but he's really good at making it seem like he really genuinely gives a fuck about whatever you're going to say right now. Because you're right. Those are small talks where it's like, oh, what's up? What have you been up to? Just that tone right there. Don't really care. Hey, Mart, dude, how have you been, man? That tone right there was a whole 180. So it's something did you pick that up anywhere, like some sort of course, or that's something you just picked up within experience and time, or some coach told you?
No, I think, it's going to sound weird. If I looked at biblically, this dude that was a god that walked around this earth and he genuinely gave two fucks about people, I kind of think, okay, like, humans should do that. So how do I care more about how am I going to leave a presence on a person by just saying these things and then actually caring. And I had to learn to empathize with people a lot faster. So you just got married. You just went to Mexico. You're Hispanic just like me. You live in California. And as I'm knowing you're about to get here, I go like, dude, how is Alberto? Like, I wonder how he is. Like, it's like, fucking, is love the same? Like, what's going on? So I kind of already build this emotion in my head so that by the time I ask you, like, how are you? I'm already like, is he going to tell me about this other stuff? Like, and sometimes I've learned how to like not be so go. And every time I do ask, like, it always starts like, how are you? Like, no, serious. And even if I'll even catch myself if it sounds too
deep or
too deep. I'm like, no,
too hard.
But really, like, how are you? And then they'll be like, well, this. They open up.
Yeah.
And that what that allows to happen is just safe space, calm. For example, you work with realtors. They're on the call prior to editing or shooting or what? Not editing, but shooting. They're sitting down. Okay, let's go, Alberto.
Yeah, I got time is money.
Time is money. And then you could go like, okay, I got you. Or you could be like, how was that call? That seemed a little much.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna be like, yeah, it was a little much. Like, or like, I'm trying to close this deal. It's been a little pissed off. I'm like, how do you feel about that? And they're like, well, it's crazy because of it. And then I just want to get them so that that is not in their. Yes.
Gotcha.
Let's get all that other shit off your system so I could get you in the full supreme who you're going to be right now.
Damn.
Yeah. Right?
That's like
15 minutes.
Yeah.
Until they're like, sometimes they're like, okay, can we hurry? And I'm like, okay, no worries. And as I'm still setting up, I'm still like, yeah, so I saw that thing that you did. I also like to praise a lot of individuals because I want them to feel good. Right. So I'll be like, yo, I saw you closed that huge deal, or like I saw you coaching that one person, or I saw you're doing these things. Like, good, bad, what happened, and then let just get it off your chest.
Right. Yeah. Right. Dude, that's sick, man. Geez. Bars. We're already running at an hour right now. We're gonna cut it right here. Do you want to keep going?
No, it's up to you.
Do you have any? Okay, before we wrap up.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Any gems for any creatives out there that are trying to get to the 6-figure range?
This is something I've been really want to share. I'm gonna speak to those that want to take this shit serious. Get a website or get a Calendly. That's the simplest thing you could do. Have a way to someone book a call with you, and don't just leave it up to messaging. Don't just leave it up to DMs. Have some sort of outlink that they could book a call with you, because you're training your audience or the person that they have to cross certain amount of boundaries, or not certain amount, but certain amount of steps in order to have that conversation with you. Are you really serious about working with me? Do you really trust me? Use this link. If they DM you, I would love to work with you. Send them that link. If they're questioning about your packages, send them to your website. If they're wanting to have that full conversation in DM, you'll notice most of the time, 8 out of 10, those are people you don't want to work with, because they're like, send me that package. It may be a little blue check mark person that is like, hey, send me the prices that you have, and you send them that link and they don't respond because they think they are so much more than you are. That's fine. That's not who I want to work with. I want to work with people that are also going to maintain my peace. I will follow your steps if you follow my steps. So that's a huge one. Another thing is, do get a website. Work on that website. Get a nice little platform, even if it's a one-pager, nice, beautiful banner, big sentences that shows what you have to offer. I have to offer, when you go to my website, is less stress in front of the camera. Grow brand awareness, have less stress in front of the camera. I'm not saying, Mar, I'm a cool videographer shooting life, or like, I don't say dumb shit like that. I say, once the very first sentence that the person is looking at is, I'm going to save you less stress. Other than that, work on your presence, work on yourself, health wise, mental wise. You're going to be a a mad creative if you're always thinking negatively. You're going to be a happy creative when you could turn your negatives into a positive. You're going to be happy creative when you could be more resourceful. Being resourceful means books, finding the answers before asking somebody. Do as much as you can for yourself before you reach out. All those things are huge things to elevate you to that 6-figure range. Learn to close a $800 deal to then learn how to close a $1,000 deal. You know, they're same components.
Same amount of work too.
Same amount of work.
Yeah. It's just a different number. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll vouch for that as far as like the website and the DM conversations. I hate doing DM conversations. Granted, I know that's like a entry of like, hey, I found you on Instagram, hashtag San Diego videographer, OC videographer, whatever. Have a conversation, the initial conversation. Hey, do you actually want to work? I always send them my Honeybook link where it says like, hey, figure out the best schedule for you to do this discovery call via Zoom. And if they don't, you're right. They do leave you on red, which I'm completely okay with, because if you couldn't even do that, then you're not serious about what you want to create. And you're just probably just price shopping at this point. You want the lowest for some sort of video quality.
Most of the time,
exactly. But when you do find that person that actually takes the time to hit the link, they answer your 5 initial questions prior to the call. All right, this person actually gives a fuck, and we might have something here. And now it's up to you to close.
Facts.
Yeah. So I'm a big advocate of having a website. It does not cost much. $10 a month on Squarespace. Come on, guys. It's very easy to create those. And most of the time, the templates are out there anyways. But if you want to customize, then yeah, it's going to cost a little more. But whatever. Have some sort of website. Don't just rely on your Instagram grid. Sure, Instagram is what do you call it? It's a resume nowadays. Mm-hmm. And keep it polished.
Yep.
Don't post vulgar stuff. Don't look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Or if not, separate the two. I have my business account. I have like 5 different accounts, I think. My friend texted me the other day because I created a podcast Instagram. He's like, dude, how many Instagrams are you going to start? I'm like, you got to keep it separate, baby. Got my personal. I got my AV weddings. That's full, just wedding stuff, obviously.
Killing it.
The Alberto visuals, which is just the business stuff.
Killing it.
And modern creative. So
now going to kill it.
Yeah, you got to keep it separate. And this is as far as I got, man. Mar, anything else?
No, sir. That's it for
Mar,
right now.
It's been a pleasure to have you on again. We definitely got to have you on once that website and your app is officially rolled out for the public, so you could do a little bit in depth of what the creators.
Well, I'm telling you right now, it is rolled out. They could go to vidproject.co and sign up if they want. They want me to jump on call with them. Totally down for that. $20 a month. Or 160 a year.
Fire.
And I'll coach you.
Fire.
Mar.videos with 2 S's.
Instagram. Yeah, you'll see here in the lower third, so don't worry. All right, man. Take it easy. What do you got going on after this?
A brainstorm meeting with a client, Casey Taramino.
Nice. And you're also doing personal content, right?
Yes.
That's crazy. How dedicated are you to the personal content? I mean, clearly because you're posting a lot, but like, do you have a dedicated, we're going to wrap up, but like, do you have a dedicated schedule as far as like personal content creation?
It's just,
or is it, I feel it and I'm going to do it now?
Right now at this time and point, it's how I just enjoy. I never took stories to the next level. And I was like, fuck it, let's go. So I noticed all the things that I've been showing on my stories, I've been doing that all the time. Now I'm like, all right, here's how I am behind the scenes at a meeting. Here's what we talk when I'm with my homies. So there's no schedule. When it comes to the scheduling myself is typically the weekends. Write it out all on the platform, put out a bunch of videos, put out the titles, get on camera, shoot what I have to shoot, and then package it and then send off. But obviously those take 3 days. Yeah.
Love it, man. Love it. Well, I'm going to get off your hair, man, and do your thing. And yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one.